Charlie Kirk dead at 31. Let's see what this is about.
Now, I want to talk about the death of Charlie Kirk and what it really means for society. I'm sure most of you guys have already seen the story. It's one of the biggest headlines right now, but for anyone who doesn't really know who Charlie Kirk was a conservative, right-wing political activist, social media personality, businessman, and author. He founded Turning Point USA, which is a youth organization that promoted right-wing politics. And over time, he became one of President Donald Trump's closest allies. Much of his influence came from social media, where he built a massive following and used that platform to spread his message. Now, yesterday on September 10, at just 31 years old, Charlie Kirk's life was cut short. He was shot and killed while speaking at Utah, and speaking in public in this fashion was, something that he did very frequently. This news sent shockwaves through the political world, the social media world, but really the world in general. It's reaching a lot of different places, and that's why I wanted to touch on it today and give my take on it. By the way, I still don't have my equipment at the moment. I'm, traveling, as some of you guys might know. I'm in Berlin, Germany, which is why my setup looks very different. I actually don't even have a setup right now, but I thought it was very important for me to touch on this story right now because it just happened, and I think my voice definitely needs to be heard on this particular topic. So make sure you guys just rock out with me on this one, okay? And just focus on the message. I want to give you a rundown of everything that's happened so far, so let's cover this together. So yesterday on September 10, 31-year-old Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking at Utah Valley University. He was doing a tour around the United States, and this was part of his American Comeback Tour. And according to reports, around 3,000 people were in attendance when it all unfolded. According to eyewitnesses, Charlie Kirk had just been asked a question about mass shootings when shots rang out.
Guys, I don't mean to be ignorant to the fact that this man lost his life and all that, but normally when people get assassinated, at least when it's black leaders, it's always a setup, bro. It's always a CIA or a special agent ops. It's somebody like that who what's the word? Like with Trump, like Trump's assassination attempt was obviously staged. You mean to tell me the president? Yeah, y'all didn't secure the ground enough for the president of the United States. It was all just a play in our face, And then he had the many men memes with TikToks. I don't know. I feel like this might be on some. Well, politics, bro. You never know if this shit's a game. I'm not saying staged like he's actually alive somewhere with Bin Laden in them in Saudi Arabia, nothing like that. But just more in the sense of like. He might have got set up to be killed by the government for all we know.
By the way, the video of it happening has been going viral. I've seen it, and
pretty much though what I'm saying is you don't know, so mind your business.
Honestly, I really regret even laying my eyes on that because it was absolutely horrible. Charlie was struck in the neck, and chaos broke out as students scrambled for safety. Charlie Kirk was rushed to a nearby hospital, but he did not survive. Authorities say they believe it was a targeted attack, which that doesn't take for a genius to come up with. At one point, the FBI briefly held 2 people, but both of these people were released, and so right now the shooter is still at large. So as we speak, no one is officially in custody, and investigators are reviewing surveillance footage to track down the shooter. By the time this video is out, I'm sure that person will be apprehended. If not, I'm sure they're pretty close to getting apprehended by the authorities. Unless they, of course, decide to leave this earth willingly. Let's just put it like that.
Or unless, too, the government or CIA, FBI did it, and they're just deciding who they're going to use as the scapegoat.
That wouldn't be very far from what usually happens in situations like this, right? The US President Donald Trump ended up responding to this death by saying that he was filled with grief and anger due to what happened because he was very close with Charlie Kirk.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah.
Now, this story has blown up for a couple of reasons, right? First of all, we're talking about a political assassination, which is exactly what happened right here. And historically, political assassinations have left a deep mark on society, no matter who the figure was. So we're not just talking about a person, we're talking about someone who represented something a very large amount of people stood by, and it's also a very big story for the mere fact that Charlie Kirk was a very popular political figure, right? Now, I had seen his name in a few different places, but personally, I actually was not very familiar with him. And I believe I had seen a picture with him and Donald Trump. Again, they're very close, right? I actually had no clue who he was aside from the little photo here and there that I had seen, and I believe I had seen his name in, a few different places. So I really did not know who he was, apart from the fact that he was a conservative activist. That I did know because I did see some things that he put up on Twitter. And I did do my due diligence by researching, some things about Charlie Kirk, right? Because if I'm going to cover something, I do want to do a foundational level of research. That's something that I stand by. And honestly, I did see a lot of clips, and I did not really agree with what I was hearing, right? That's my personal opinion. With that being said, he did leave behind 2 children and a wife. So with that being a fact, I will not use my voice or platform to say anything negative about him, his legacy, the point of this.
Yeah. I haven't seen the clips or seen the video or none of that just because I wasn't just aware of his presence. But I will say, if you pass away and the first thing people come out saying about you is that you were a bigoted racist who didn't support things that help minorities and people in trouble, I'm not gonna be honest. It low key is fuck you, and that doesn't change the day you die. I'm not saying justifying people being insensitive to him passing or nothing like that. But I remember whenever that Luigi Mangino, whatever his name was, that killed that CEO, and everybody tried to justify a CEO being killed, and they said, "Oh, well, his mother or the health system pretty much kills us all the time. It's murder." So he's for the people. And I remember so many, really, because they a picture leaked of this nigga with his shirt off, and he had a solid physique. Everybody was acting like that killing was justified, but now this killing isn't justified. And this guy was speaking a bunch of racist. You see how, bro? I don't know, bro. It's just so weird how people switch up, and it's like, I don't know. I think if you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person. That doesn't matter if you die or not. I'm not saying like he deserved to die, but like I'm not particularly sad, or I don't empathize with his family that he died, because the things he was speaking about and kind of rooting for was against what it sounds like was against my people and what we're trying to get and figure out. So I really don't. I could give a fuck less. I'm gonna be honest. Niggas die all the time. This nigga don't care if one of us die. Fuck y'all care so much, bruh.
Video is,
it's just more shit for niggas to complain about on the internet. That's what it comes down to. But there was a situation similar to this a couple months ago, and y'all had a completely different take as a collective. So honestly, I don't give a fuck what these niggas think about who feels what about. Everybody's gonna go back to their 9 to 5s, stressing about the economy right after this blows over in like a couple of days anyways.
Not to create more division. The point of this video is to have a real conversation together.
Real
and personally, if I use an
Blackie?
opportunity like this to push division or let my biases shine, because as human beings we all have our own biases, let's just say that I wouldn't really sleep very well. Now what I did want to speak about is what this particular death means for society in general. I think something like this, which is a political assassination, let's call it like it is, I think this kind of thing can have a very strong ripple effect, which is something that I believe is going to happen in a situation like this, right? And one thing that I think is going to happen, one of the ripple effects that I think this is going to cause is extreme levels of political unrest that we cannot come back from as human beings. I'm sure most people know how bad things have gotten in the world politically, right? And this is regardless of what side that you're on. There's a level of division that's happened these days.
Yo, niggas is getting desperate, bro. They said, fuck y'all old ass niggas. We finna go to the college kids, bro.
That progressively keeps getting worse for several reasons, which we're going to get into right now, right? And one of the things that I really feel, just hitting on that point, right? One of the things I feel very strongly about is how politics divides us as humans like no other force, especially today when so much is being done in the name of politics. I don't know.
And that's like, too, I you know why I don't like niggas who get real mad and try to make you feel like bad for how you feel politically, or like niggas try to turn it into this whole other thing. Well, sometimes this stuff do be rooted in ignorance, no cap. But I will say, like, bro, y'all niggas really think we make decisions? Like, y'all really think we decide who president is? Y'all think the powers that be, if you as a man or a woman, whoever, will lie to get some box from a woman, what do you think the person that's in charge of the world, what type of lie or construct do you think they wouldn't create to make sure they retain their power and wealth and influence over the masses? Like, it's so funny to me. We really think we like select, not even on the conspiracy theory shit. We really think we like select the president, and we really decide what happens in this country. If we decided what happens in this country, we wouldn't be trying to help all these niggas in wars, and we would be putting that money towards the homeless or whatever niggas be talking about. So, like, honestly, this is just stupid, because like you're not really doing anything but just, like he said, he's right, just dividing and making people argue about shit. When at the end of the day, regardless of how these niggas feel or how we feel or anybody else, we all got to share this place called America regardless. And if a war comes, they don't look at you and go, you're a Republican, we're not going to shoot you in the head, but we'll shoot these Democrats. They're like, no, they're shooting all Americans in the head. You feel me? If that's so, at the end of the day, we got to stick together, because nigga, we all we got.
open right in front of us. There are people in power who get there by making promises to the public, promises that in many cases were never meant to be kept. And what ends up happening is regular people carry the weight of that division. We argue, we fight, a lot of times we even spill blood amongst each other. In this particular case, it's very clear that someone disagreed with Charlie to such an extreme point that they decided to end his life. Now, whether you agreed with what the man said or not, one thing about Charlie Kirk, and this is something that I can instantly tell about him, is that he really stood on what he believed in. Does that mean that I think he should have been taken out for his beliefs? Absolutely not. I think that is insane to even say. Because once you start to justify the death of another human being simply because of their political stance or personal beliefs, that's when you step into a very slippery slope, which is something that I have seen a lot of on social media regarding this particular situation right here. And sometimes I wonder if people generally realize how much power they give away when they let violence become the answer. Because when you think about it, when someone feels the only way to deal with a person they disagree with is to take them out, that's not strength. That's
Well, it's easy to say that, and I get it that Black He Speaks is not a Black American, but I think like as Black people as well, is you can say that, but that's literally how America has retained their power. Um, Whenever Black civil rights movement, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, this is CIA documents released by the government, and it was broken down that all of our most powerful leaders they have killed because they disagreed with us. The violent ones, the non-violent ones, the ones in the middle, they've killed us because they've disagreed with Black people genuinely trying to pull themselves out of the hole that we were made to dug for ourselves and then thrown in. And every time we try to climb out, we get kicked back in. So I don't really agree with that take of like, I don't know, like I don't, how can I explain this? Some of these people's beliefs are rooted in racism. They don't understand that because one, they're not Black, and they just don't care to understand it because like white people to acknowledge the racism that Black people deal with and just the capitalism on top of that, they'd have to give up parts of white supremacy and stuff like that that benefits them and just admit how much their existence kind of uh benefits them and de-benefits us. So they'll never, a lot of people will just never admit that out of pure ignorance or just they don't want to see the truth at all. But on top of that, I kind of look at this Charlie Kirk situation, not to be crude or rude or nothing like that, but even if he didn't do something to deserve that bullet, no cap, his ancestors did. And like some of the people who work on these types of campaigns who do stuff like this, they kind of some of them deserve that, no cap, they do, because they know what they do. They know what they do to people who look like me. They know the laws and how it doesn't benefit people like me. They know the history of their country and what their country did to people who look like me and minorities in general to get to where they are today. And the same thing that happened to him is what they always have done to us and to anybody else that they couldn't silence or that they couldn't turn to their side eventually. So I just don't really feel bad for somebody because I see it as a casualty of war. You're kind of just a casualty of war. You pick that side and you, it is what it is. And I don't even think it's real. I feel like the government set it up and now they're going to find a scapegoat like they always do. You mean to tell me he's a high level politician on a college campus and nobody thought to get the fuck out of here, man. Just get the fuck out of here, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Whenever Donald Trump almost got killed and he came back like this and there was an active sniper, I said, yeah, this nigga is. And how does a sniper miss? How? Man, get the fuck. This shit is all fake, Jew. It's all fake.
Weakness disguised as control. And here's the part that scares me. It doesn't stop with just one person. It doesn't stop with just Charlie Kirk, right? That's something that a lot of people might believe, but it really doesn't, because once that door is opened, it sends the signal that anybody can be next. Politicians, artists, which artists, we've particularly seen that in hip hop, but the violence in hip hop is obviously for a completely different reason. We don't have to get into that right now. Whether it's politicians, artists, activists, or even regular people who just happen to say the wrong thing to the wrong crowd. The truth is, regular people get taken out every single day. And most of the time, society doesn't even blink. They just become another statistic. And that...
Bro, when Luigi Mangingo got taken, he took out the healthcare CEO. Niggas was celebrating him, saying he didn't deserve to be in jail because he was doing justice for the people. How is this any different? Him taking him out might be justice for some people, and it might be a get back for how So I don't want to hear that shit, nigga. I don't want to hear that shit. Y'all niggas are fucking biased as fuck, bro. All of y'all. Y'all are biased. And I don't even agree with Blackie's take. Like, I'm all for peace and all that shit, but you can't constantly do violent. And sometimes you can have extremely violent acts on people. Like, there's such thing as psychological and mental warfare as well. And a lot of these niggas, they do financial warfare. They do system, psychological, environment warfare. They may not straight up kill you anymore, call you an N-word, but the way their system is set up will kill you financially, will kill you to the point where you don't even have a chance to become a successful person to live the American dream. It'll make sure you know every point in time when you get out of line that you feel like the N-word, even if they don't call you that. So, like, again, I don't know. I just don't agree. I think sometimes to get what you want, you have to act in certain ways. Sometimes that means violence. Sometimes that means aggressiveness, selective aggressiveness, not just brute aggressiveness for no reason. But there's never really been any wars fought without the death of somebody, the loss of somebody. And I don't think that's just going to stop because a couple of niggas on TikTok watched a couple of TikToks, so they made a little bit of money and they feel like the point of life is peace because they are living financially. Like,
is another conversation itself as well, but it ties back to what we're seeing right here. This has me genuinely worried about where things are headed. I'll just be completely.
Are you a politician? Do you talk about people and do you try to create systems that benefit some people and don't benefit other people? If you're not actively trying to fuck over people, you shouldn't have to worry about this. The only niggas who get bullet shot at them, besides the rare cases with innocent bystanders and drive-bys and stuff like that, the only niggas getting shot at, the only niggas getting charged for life sentences or going to jail more times than not are the niggas who did something to deserve it. Even if they didn't do something to deserve that, maybe they did something behind the scenes and karma is just catching up with them. This does not happen to regular people. A nigga with a sniper rifle, more times than not, is not just, come on, bro. Like, he did, I'm not saying he fully did something to deserve this, but like, man, we're not just gonna overlook everything this nigga said either. Because it sounds like, bro, I don't know, bro. Everybody that I've seen say something that's a credible source in my eyes has said this nigga, he essentially didn't care about black people. So if you don't care about my people and you know how the reason we are today we are, and if you're ignorant, then you don't know, which is fine. But that just means don't speak on it because you're ignorant to the fact, bruh, I ain't gonna lie, like, I just don't care. I don't know.
Honest with you, because one of the last things that I'd want to see is innocent people being targeted and taken out simply because of their beliefs. And again,
yeah, but he's not innocent. That's the whole point. I think that's the whole point people are trying to make. You can't have racist. You can't have racist white supremacist views. It's one thing to just have those views and voice them, but he's actively trying to get in a system where he can act on those things and implement those things. So it's at that point, you're not just an innocent person. You're a person who's potentially doing harm to people. You are. Even if you don't get in the systems and make change, you're still electrifying and creating an environment where a lot of people can feel more and more confident, disrespecting and not caring about other people. So you're still caught. That's still an act of violence. In the ripple effect is an act of, like, we're not gonna act like this nigga was just a good dude just talking about how he felt and that was it. No, y'all niggas are. It's not even about being soft, and I don't condone killing people. I don't want to kill nobody, but like, it just sounds like he had it coming a little bit. Anytime you step in that type of mode and you get in these types of conversations and you make that your brand and you speak publicly and you want to get in a system, like, this is what comes with that. You understand? So I think he knew that. He signed up. This is what he signed up for. I don't know. I just don't empathize with racists at all. Like, because somebody who's black, I just don't empathize with racists. I don't empathize with racists. Do I feel like all racists should die? No. But like, based off their mindsets, my people will die. Some of my people will die because of them. So at the same time, should they not? I don't know. This is a great situation to talk about morality, though, around death and disagreements. I do like where he's going with this. I just think he's just framing it in a way that is just not true to me personally.
This has nothing to do with whether or not you agreed with Charlie Kirk or not. You cannot look at what happened to this man and say that he deserved to go out like that.
I ain't gonna say he didn't deserve to go out like that too. Bro, if a nigga wants to snipe you, the risk of going to jail for life, one, I probably think it's the government. My first thought is it was set up. And if it wasn't set up, bro, you had what the fuck were you saying for somebody to want to snipe you, nigga? You know what I'm saying? What were you saying or doing for somebody to want to snipe you? Come on, bro. Niggas ain't trying to snipe. Yo, niggas do not be trying to snipe Corey X Kenshin, gang. Niggas aren't trying to snipe the nigga who played Yo Gabba Gabba. Not saying you should be able to have opinions, freedom of speech, and all that. So I don't give a fuck. But racist is racist, man. That's what comes with it.
I think that
the
is
same as when there's somebody who you're in a racist environment and you're black. That's what comes being black, is robbed of opportunities, transgressions, microaggressions, straight up aggressions. So yeah, just shut up, nigga.
the craziest thing that I've seen being pushed on social media. I understand that you might not agree with another human being on a foundational level.
Yeah, y'all niggas are bums. Y'all niggas are trash cans, bro. This guy. Just